Welcome to Corrective Consciousness, episode 196, the podcast where we explore the inanity of pop culture. I'm your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince.
And Dracologist.
And we have another great topic-based show here for you folks. I wanted to do something a little bit more topical than usual because we live in unusual times, and of course that affords us some unusual amount of time in order to catch up on things. And I just thought it would be interesting. I've been catching up on like a lot of like backlog-ish kind of stuff, and I just kind of wanted to share it because the stuff that I've been looking up has been interesting and also has been like either suggested to me for a long time or like recently by podcasts, and I finally like have a chance because like, you know, I'm usually pretty social, so I've been getting some opportunities to like watch some things, and also been like using the new Roku that we have in the house as well. So
What?
It's like a set-top box. It's called a Roku. It's basically a machine that you hook up to your TV, and it has different apps on it, so you can watch like Amazon Prime Video or Netflix or Hulu or any of the streaming apps, and it also has some free ones on there as well. So I've been catching up on some of the stuff that I just normally wouldn't have the opportunity to. Also, while I've been like, the primary project that I'm working on right now is I've mentioned this in past episodes, but I just purchased a house with my fiance, so we are getting the house together, and you know, there's a lot of stuff to do. You know, we're organizing, we were packing before. So we've been keeping busy with that, but like while I've been like building things, you know, for the house, like pieces of furniture and things like that, I need to have something on while I'm doing that, you know, just to have something on in the background. So I've been catching up on things while doing that, but my primary project has been, you know, just doing stuff for the house, and that includes like putting the living room together. I just put a bar cart together, which will be really neat for entertaining people. The AV setups around my house, you know, that's obviously going to be very important to me because I've, you know, video game consoles and stuff all over the place. And also, I finally have an office. I was using this like little alcove in my one-bedroom apartment.
Yeah, that was pretty tight.
Your
Lotus
man cave.
knows. Yeah, Lotus knows what
I
I'm talking
wouldn't
about.
even call it a man cave.
Man Boodle.
No, it was a cubby.
Yeah.
At best, it fit my desk and my chair. And a couple
And the chair
bookshelves.
was a tight squeeze. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
You could easily sit in the chair, but whenever you like wanted to take it out or put it back in, you had to like finagle with it.
Yeah, I have an actual office to myself now, which is also super important because I started working from home 2 weeks ago. So, you know, that tight space made it difficult for me to work effectively and comfortably. And now I actually have a proper office, and I put that together this weekend. So you would be proud, Lotus. I have an entire shelf dedicated to the Dark Tower on my bookshelf.
And next to the Dark Tower, do you have a Genesis and a 32X and Sonic and Knuckles and Altered Beast? For the
Dark Tower of Power.
Yeah.
No, but right underneath it, I do have Lord of the Rings as kind of an homage to it, because I'm sure Stephen King would be very proud that he's right next to the Lord of the Rings, which is basically
the Two Towers.
Well, the Dark Tower is his Lord of the Rings, so he would say so.
But now it's the Two Towers, including the Two Towers.
Return of the Black Pink Panther.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We now return to the Return of the Pink Panther Returns, or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Something insane.
There is also another big section that is just newspaper comics. So one shelf is basically all Calvin and Hobbes plus the new Nancy book.
I gotta read more Nancy. That is like weirdly like laugh out loud.
It's so
funny.
good, and I made my fiance read it this past week at like the April 1st one, and I was just like, just read this, and she's just like, all right, this is really good.
Yes.
She's just like, isn't Nancy like a schmaltzy piece of crap
Well, yeah,
comic?
that's what I was
like,
saying
yes.
last week. It's schmaltzy, harmless. Like maybe your grandma will get a little shot. Like, oh, how nice.
Yes, and that's why it's funny. Like,
Yeah.
that's why it's funny now.
Suddenly
And
it
All
has teeth.
comics that do that. What?
what was that?
Suddenly it has teeth.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
But the only other thing on that, I'm gonna put my Cyanide and Happiness books. I have two of those at a different location. I'm gonna put those up there.
How about your PBF book?
My PBF book is up there. That's what I was gonna say. So I have that, and I have an entire 2 shelves dedicated to Grant Morrison comics.
There you go.
And I have a manga section that is just Junji Ito. And
Oh yeah, that's nice.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, I don't buy manga with a single exception, and of course it's fucking JoJo, so I'm really starting to take up some shelf space with it.
Oh yeah.
Of all the manga to get into, I choose the one that's been going on for like 30 years.
Yeah. JoJo, Berserk, and Gantz would literally take up my entire room if I let it, because like I have every Gantz book.
Yeah, Gantz
and
is
I have
very
every
good.
Berserk
Except
book.
for the ending. Gantz's ending just kind of happened, but otherwise I love
Yeah,
Gantz.
it was great though. But Berserk's ending
Berserk's
has never happened.
really going places.
Berserk's great.
Still waiting.
It went places eventually.
The Japanese Doom.
Yeah, but I'm very proud of this shelf, and it's not even complete because I need more shelves because I have other stuff in here. But I'm just pretty proud of that right now. But I while I'm talking about comics, I might as well talk about like the comics that I'm like catching up on right now. So, a little while back, we had an episode about like stuff from our childhood that like we wanted to follow up on.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that itself is a pretty deep cut. We're finally following up on that now.
Yeah. Well, I ended up ordering the trade paperback of the 3 Dracula versus Batman comics. Collected into one. It's called Batman Elseworlds Volume 2. But like this whole Elseworlds is like DC's What If kind of.
There's a look I haven't seen in a while. The really long-eared Batman.
Oh yeah, no, the art in this is phenomenal. So this entire conceit of this trilogy and don't think you need to get like Batman Elseworlds Volume 1 because like they're all like standalone and thematic, but this one has like is a trilogy into itself, so it's self-contained.
By the way, this isn't part of the Dracula stuff, but I think you mentioned you had some Batman Elseworlds collection before. You still gotta look into Batman, whatever the one's called, like Dark Joker the Wild.
I need to.
That one's something
I
else.
hear good things about the White Knight, but
I haven't read that one.
But I love this like early 90s, late 80s like Batman art. Like it's just phenomenal. I love it. He has so many muscles you don't even know what to do with it, and I just love it. It's so good, but it's like too many muscles, but in a good way. It's not like Rob Liefeld.
I was gonna mention Rob Liefeld, where the
not
muscles
like Rob
have
Liefeld.
muscles.
It's about definition instead of bulk.
That one Captain America shot that everyone made fun of.
Atrocious. But yeah, this is really good. So he fights Dracula in this. And in the first book, he becomes a vampire, and it's pretty epic. And he's fighting, being a vampire and being a good guy. During this, it's really good.
It's Blade.
Yeah, but like
pretty much.
Blade is a half vampire or a hay vampire, if you will.
Yes.
With a human mother.
But he's a daywalker.
I think the term is Dampir, but okay.
Yeah, they call him Daywalker in the movie. Like, Dampir does make more sense. Speaking of which, what was really funny? That this is getting a little tangential, but you know the movie, and now there's a TV series, What We Do in the Shadows?
Oh, yeah. Taika Waititi.
Yeah, there was a really... I haven't watched the TV series, but I saw a clip. There's a really funny clip where there's, like... the revelation that actors who have played vampires in movies are actually vampires. But the funniest part for me was that, like, because the actors showed up on the show, like, as themselves. It was great.
Yeah.
But what was great was Wesley Snipes wasn't there in person, but he was Skyping in. But it was great because he's, like, in his room or whatever, but you could clearly see sunlight coming through the window, but he's a daywalker, so it's fine. I was like, yo, that's amazing.
That show is really funny. They even have different types of vampires. Like, they have an emotional vampire. Like, you've heard of that in, like, people talking. Like, he's a literal
they're
emotional vampire.
Draining. Yeah.
Like, he walks into the room and, like, kills any energy that's happening. It's really funny.
So, Dementors?
It's just really funny because, like, you talk about certain, like, toxic people being like, emotional vampires. This guy is, like, just brings everybody down, including the vampires. They don't like him, so it's just really funny.
That's
it's
great.
Just like, ah, man, you too. It's really funny. But anyway, I'm also reading Hellblazer as well,
Nice.
which is John Constantine, the second volume.
Oh, I hope it's half as good as the movie.
I
actually genuinely like the movie.
I actually like the movie.
Which one?
Constantine with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Oh, what my brother called this movie is basically Painkiller.
Yeah, it kind of is.
But it's based off the comic. It was based
loosely.
off of a pretty popular
I know
storyline.
I know John Constantine as a character, by the way.
Yeah, like the movie's generally okay, but like
Yeah, it's good.
the like 6 or 7 minute scene with Peter Stormare as the devil, he just steals the entire
it's
movie.
really good.
It's unbelievable.
I definitely recommend it. It's an overlooked comic book movie for sure.
How about the game of the movie?
I don't know that one.
I saw
know
it on
there
shelves
was
for a while. I
PS2
think it was a PS2 and PS3 game.
PS2 game.
Where what was clever about it was you can use some of the cool gadgets that showed up for like a second in the movie. Like, because they had one of those scenes like Q in James Bond where, you know how there's a bunch of weird shit? You're like, what's that? And then he issues Bond what he's actually getting. It's like that. Like, here's a bunch of weird shit you're not going to be needing, Keanu Reeves. Here's the stuff you'll be needing in this movie. So apparently that weird shit they glossed over, like, you can actually use in the game, which is a pretty clever idea.
Yeah, I actually recently got Justice League Dark, like the animated movie, part of the DC animated movies.
Sure.
And I want to watch that. I haven't gotten a chance to, but that has
say
John
what you will about
Constantine in it.
DC's movies, but their animated movies are consistently
really
very,
good.
very good.
Yeah, they're really good. I watched the Death and Return of Superman movies, and they were really good. And that's in stark contrast to like the Death and Return of the original Death and Return animated movie, which wasn't good at all.
Oh, I thought you were going to mention Batman versus Superman, where Superman resurrects in the next movie in like the opening scene, and you're like, oh, okay, death has no meaning, I guess.
No, I tend not to mention that.
Like, I mean, I know you got to bring back Superman. They're not going to permanently kill off Superman, but like in the comics, there was like a period.
There was actual weight.
A world without Superman. Like, there was a period with that. But in the movie, he dies at the very end of Batman vs. Superman. He comes back at the very beginning of Justice League. Like, are you fucking serious?
And
like,
and people, and not to mention, like, they basically did the same thing to Batman around the same time with Nightfall. They didn't kill him, but they crippled him. So
yeah, but like that was made very clear. Like, I mean, he was still taken out of the game though.
Yeah, for a whole year.
I mean, with Superman, you'd think at the end of the Justice League movie, oh, he's finally back. Like, we were losing this battle, but here comes Superman, and that did happen. But he'd been alive the whole time. It's like,
with
all right.
with a CG upper lip.
Yeah.
But I've stolen the floor long enough. Would one of you like to talk about what you're catching up on or doing recently?
Dracologist, you want to go ahead?
Again, I finished watching the Astartes series, which was animated shorts based on the FortiGate universe.
Sure.
So have they released many of these in the past, or is it like the first one? What's going on with them?
Well, no, you said this was like the fifth one, right?
The story is they actually just got back recently just got back their channel, which was stolen. But yeah, it's basically only just five animated shorts that came out of nothing that recently got concluded with the fifth. And
Are they official or are they fan made?
Fan made.
Okay, fan made. Okay.
Game Workshop is a lumbering behemoth. It doesn't do much. It
Gotcha.
gets most of its nourishment from assemblable miniatures. So
Yeah, it's like what I've heard about Dungeons and Dragons. Like Warhammer is not a game; it's a lifestyle. I mean, a lot of people might collect the figures just to have the figures as opposed to play. But like whether you do or not, that is a very expensive hobby.
Speaking of Superman, did you guys hear that Henry Cavill was doing a stream where he was painting miniatures?
No, that's pretty cool.
I didn't follow him, but I know that he's a massive nerd.
Yeah,
the internet loves him from it.
Yeah, he actually loves tabletop board gaming, and including like Warhammer kind of stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I know he was Geralt in the Witcher series, and seemed to be a badass sword fighter in that.
Well, he had talked about recently that he's not really the type of guy who goes out and parties a whole lot, despite his looks and stuff like that. He's really kind of a stay-at-home kind of guy who likes to keep to himself most of the time. So
how about that?
Despite him, looking like a big handsome dude, that would gain a lot of attention.
Who plays fucking Superman?
Yeah, he's literally like one of the most handsome people I've ever seen in my life, right? And
I don't know, he should have kept the beard as Superman. Like he doesn't look very well as a well-shaven person. Like he looks weird well shaven.
No, you know what's kind of funny.
He looked good in Mission Impossible. He his look in that was cool.
Now I was gonna say, you know what's kind of funny? Like this is a weird thing to bring up, but like in the Supergirl TV show, the CW show, Superman pops up like sometimes, but he's
mainly standalone though.
Yeah, like he'll show up for like an episode or something, but like he's like Golden Age Superman. He's got like the hair curl. There's a part where like he saves some little kid from some bad guy. He like swoops them away and ties them up or something. Actually winks before flying away. It's like it's what the DC movies are sorely lacking. It's just like I'm here to save the day, everybody. Like he's like he doesn't say that or talk like that, but that's the kind of Superman he is. Yeah.
Sure.
Does somebody need assistance? Like he has that just.
Does somebody call a web slinger?
Yeah. Oh my god. But it really is like, some bad guy is up to no good. Like, it's fantastic.
The fun Superman.
Yeah. He is the fun Superman. It's great. Like where have you been all these DC movies?
I also like Fun Batman when he pops up.
Yeah.
Like Fun Batman, if you ever watched the team up TV show that he had,
was this The Brave and the Bold, where they were drawing
The Brave and the Bold? Oh yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, where they actually play that like Wonder Woman, like the Linda Carter '70s theme for her. It's like, whoa, bringing that back.
My favorite episode, he had a few different episodes with Plastic Man, and Plastic Man's a big goofball, and it was like basically the opposite of Batman in every way.
Sure.
And there's an episode where he does a call to arms to all of his best team ups, so he could get everybody else's help, and he calls everybody on the radio, and he goes, yes, Wonder Woman, I'm gonna need your help, Green Lantern, I'm gonna need your help, and he's like, but not you, Plastic Man, and Plastic Man was running to come help him, and he just goes, mm.
No, I really liked. I don't think it was Brave and the Bold. It was another DC TV show cartoon where they have little shorts at the end of the episode. Like one of them was one that I've already mentioned, where Mark Hamill was every voice role, where the Joker and the Trickster capture Mark Hamill, and then the Swamp Thing saves them. It's it's fucking perfect. But one of the other shorts at the end of an episode was, I don't remember what the villain's name is. It's not Toyman. It's like a younger guy who uses little wind-up robots and shit, like little toys to destroy everything. And there's a part where he was stealing all of these incredible, I think they were cyborgs actually. He was Cyborg the character. He was stealing a bunch of his cool figures, because Cyborg is a nerd, and he was taking a bunch of Cyborgs complete in box figures and shit. And then Cyborg's like, no, you can't do that. And then the Toyman eventually is like, oh, you can't come too close to me though, because if you do, I have this whole room set to blow. And Cyborg's like, yeah, no, you don't. there's no way you're destroying those toys. Like, you wouldn't dare. And he's like, oh, you're right. It was fantastic.
But yeah, DC's TV output is way better than than their movie output, and it's actually kind of vice versa for Marvel. Like, their animated output's not very good at all. As of
Marvel's
late,
pretty hit or miss. Yeah.
Yeah, but their TV shows are all right. Their live action ones are pretty good, but eh. But anyway, Dracologist, please, we hijacked
Continue.
you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so basically the Astartes came out in 5 parts, and they are pretty, like, they are short and punchy videos. They leave you like, oh, what the hell was that? What just happened? Type of thing. And what people are suggesting from the last episode's ending is that there might be more coming up.
Ooh.
People would probably say that they like GB should be paying these people more money to make this sort of
because
thing.
they're basically advertising their product for free.
Yeah.
Like, they already did this with what? Hold on a second. Give me a moment. Yes, they already did that with Richard Boylan, who made the Hell's Reach videos, which was another animated sort. It was a Warhammer audiobook that was animated, and it was pretty solid. And apparently he and his crew is working with another animation crew along to make an animated series about, I think, the Blood Angels of the Adeptus Astartes, basically the Space Marines.
So you were telling us that this is a good thing to watch if you want to learn a bit about Warhammer, right?
It's a good primer. If you like what you see, then you're probably going to get interested. But I think still the best primer is still Brother Alpha Boo's video of the If the Emperor Had Text-to-Speech text-to-speech device, because it's handling the whole case not seriously and with levity and humor, and it's kind of informative. And when things is said, you actually want to know what are they talking about, or what are the details on things, and you can look up like Wikipedia's or similar sites where you can get information about it.
Gotcha. I always wanted to hop on and play the Space Marine video game. Is that a good place to hop down?
Yeah, it's a good. Well, some people say that if you want to start, you might want to start with something more about the human sides of not the Space Marine side. But it's a good game. Like, if you want to, I think what I heard, the best starting novels are the Ordo Xenos, the Eisenhorn books.
Okay.
If you find that series, I recommend that, because it shows the positive, the negative sides of the universe. Like, it's not always...
wouldn't the best starting books be those ones that were released for the little kids like this last year?
No, because they're absolutely lazy nutters, and they completely...
if you want to get into Star Wars, read the Galaxy of Fear books. Those Goosebumps books they made back in the late 90s. You should read those.
Really? That's a thing?
You didn't know about that?
The name sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't remember hearing about
So Scholastic had a line of Star Wars themed Goosebumps books, basically.
That's crazy.
Called The Galaxy of Fear, that I used to read. I read there were 10 of them. I read them all, and
I wonder if I've read any without realizing that that's what that was.
And they were fun reads, but thinking back on it, it's that's really funny that they made Star Wars Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Does it feature the Ragul, for example?
I don't remember. I remember these. Because back when they were made, there's so very little Star Wars media that everybody was just clamoring for it, and now there's too much. It was the original
trilogy.
Yeah.
Remember that time Han Solo had a twin brother, Thraken Sal Solo? Remember that? Remember that time the Emperor had 2 children who each had 3 eyes, and one of them was named Trioculus, and the other was named Triclops?
Or that one of of Darth Vader's gloves was like indestructible, but it was cut off, so they needed to go find it.
Remember the Sun Crusher, which was more badass and powerful than the Death Star, even though it was a ship you could fly and it blew up a sun, which basically just fucked solar systems.
Remember when they killed Chewbacca by throwing a moon at him?
I never read that, but yes, I do know about that. It's like, it's so badass that it, like, you know how some things are like really stupid, but they're so badass you excuse them?
Yeah.
This is like the other way. It's like so badass that it becomes stupid. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, come on.
They threw a moon at him.
Yeah, it's great.
It's like, he's just a regular Wookiee. You could have just shot him.
He's a guy. Yeah, like, what are you doing?
He's not even like a special Wookiee. He's just a Wookiee.
He's really not. He's Han Solo's buddy that Han Solo saved from slave traders. Remember that?
He's a space
in
dog.
the little kitty book with Chewbacca's family, which might be where the holiday special came from, because that was when they had Nala and Lumpy. Like that, I read that little book when I was a kid, and like it wasn't the Star Wars holiday special, the book, but it was just like a little story where Lumpy fell off a railing or something and went into the woods, and it's scary, and they had to go save him, and he was like, "Oh, gee, Dad, I just wanted to get something for you for your 200th birthday," and they're like, "Oh, but we're family, and you're great anyway." That was the book, but that was Chewbacca's family's names were in there, and Han Solo apparently saved Chewie from slave traders. It's backstory that I don't think is canon anymore.
Nothing is canon anymore.
That's true.
Everything has been burned to the ground.
That's true. Yeah, fuck all y'all.
The
We're
Galaxy
doing
of
the
Fear is
prequels.
canon.
We're doing the sequel trilogy.
Galaxy of Fear is canon.
All right. Remember that time Han Solo had and Leia had twin kids, Jason and Jaina?
Oh yeah,
The stories are actually interesting.
Remember that time when they took a dead actor and they put it all up in a movie and as part of a major part?
What, Rogue One?
Or like a bunch of the new movies?
What?
The newest movie had that.
Well, at least they fucking had the camera on her. Grand Moff Tarkin was like CG'd in, which is creepy and unsettling.
Yeah.
At least like Carrie Fisher, like they were using like footage they had, like legitimate footage.
Anyway, so these were pretty good launching points here if you want to get into like 40K lore, right?
It's a good little primer if you are interested. If it's a little bit of a what do you call it? Appetizer, I would say. If you like what you see, then you're probably going to find something.
Do you follow regular Warhammer or just 40K?
Regular Warhammer, not really, because it's basically just more hardcore the Middle Earth.
Gotcha.
Like Warhammer 40K has a sort of, but the whole thing is that it started out of as parody, and it got itself serious, and now it's awesome.
Oh, that's like Nier. It was based off of like the joke ending of Drakengard 1, and now it's this super serious, like, emotional story.
Except Nier's world would be probably burned to the crisp by the Adeptus Mechanicus. Speaking of, if you remember, there was that game on the game Switch, I think, with the Cook Boys.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
What was it?
The new 40K game, right?
Mechanicus.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a pretty vast thing, but like if you find something like how to say this, you're probably going to find something amusement in it at some point. At some point in it, even if it's just some sort of one of the small splinter factions. You got it as hey, that's cool.
That's cool. How about you, Lotus? What have you been into recently that you've been catching up on, or
my schedule really hasn't changed. Like I'm not catching up on anything. Like
other than the normal stuff, right?
Yeah, everything is the same. Like I could talk to you about the stuff I've been playing recently, I guess.
That's fine.
I started Echo Knight on Monday.
The original Echo Knight, right?
The original Echo Knight. I could tell you all about how that is, but for some reason I won't today. I'll do it next week when I actually know what I'm talking about, because even though this is coming up on Thursday, I haven't played it yet, even though I have. Typo Man is pretty enjoyable just because I always liked doing the little word scramble in the newspaper, and
Mhm.
Typo Man is like that. Like to solve puzzles. It's pretty fun.
This is great, but I can't do the junior jumble.
Yeah. Otherwise, Resident Evil Zero the Let's Play has finished at the time of this recording. I mean, it was finished last week, but like it has gone fully up for the public as well. I'm going to be putting up another LP, which I still need to finish, but I think I'm getting toward the end. It's the visual novel, the horror novel, The Letter, which is actually pretty spooky. Deathmark was interesting and creepy in like, oh man, if I were in this situation, it'd be damn scary. But I never felt scared as a player. But The Letter's creepy, like actually for real, like on a video game player level.
Which one's the letter?
It's
What's the conceit in that?
it like the basic premise is like from a book you would have read in like middle school or high school, like a Christopher Pike book or like a Fear Street book or something. Like you find a letter that
Like
says
R.L. Stein, that kind of stuff.
yeah. Like you find a letter and it says "help me" repeatedly, like a million times, probably in blood. But
Sounds
also,
almost like a can't sleep thing in Reddit or whatever. Like
yeah, but it's like spread this letter to 5 people, and you're like a literal like an old style chain letter, really? But then it seems that anyone who's seen the letter eventually gets killed by a spooky ghost, and you're like, what the fuck do I do about this? So at the point I'm in the game, I still don't know what to do about this. This is a problem. It's tried to kill me a couple times. It's pretty interesting. I mean, the ghost is a pretty standard, like the Ring ghost, or the Grudge ghost.
Oh, of course.
But there's a little bit of a tweak. It's got like a creepy smile, which those ghosts don't have. Okay, it's something. But the game's actually spooky, and I enjoy the characters. Otherwise, I mean, this is going back a little while, but I played and beat Super Hot. That's a game I've just been wanting to play for a while. I finally did. Not the VR one, the regular one. I still want to play the VR one, but regular one's pretty rad. Otherwise, I've been playing a bunch of Gungeon.
good stuff.
I killed the past with the 4 base characters. I'm trying to do it with a robot. I'm trying to unlock a particular secret character, which fucking sucks because you basically need to do 2 completely successful runs like in a row, and it's extremely hard to do. And I played like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours of Death Stranding. It's interesting and it's fucking weird.
Wow. What point did you get to?
I'm not far. I'm on like chapter 2 or something.
Okay, so
I've basically gotten a taste of what the spooky ghosts do, and like the weird animal that comes out of the not oil puddle. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Are you delivering stuff back and forth to like the first area of places? Is that what you're doing?
I can't really say back and forth, but like I've gotten the mission officially to like go across the US, so I'm just starting to work my way westward, and I've pleased some town like, oh thanks, you're worth the hype, it seems. So like, but I'm not really anywhere yet. Like I've gotten through basically the tutorial chapters.
Are you doing every subquest you can, or are you just
I'm using a guide
along?
straight up. I'm gonna try doing that. Yeah.
By the
Okay,
way,
good.
if you ever finish that game, you might want to call me because I want to discuss that game.
Okay.
I want to be a part of that discussion.
Sure.
It's absolutely an interesting and fascinating game, even if you don't end up liking it. It's one of those things, it's just like, it's so interesting, how could you not like it on some level?
Well, not only that, but a lot of the complaints I see are like, when does the game happen? Everything, it's just a walking simulator. I'm like, that's what the game is.
Yeah.
Like, what, like...
The idea is that what
your
you're
name
doing
is
is
Sam Porter
difficult.
Bridges, you're a porter. Like, what do you think a porter does? It's like, playing like a U.S. post office simulator. When do you get to a destination? Like, you're driving the fucking mail truck. What do you want?
Well, like part of what you're doing in the game is supposed to make you feel like the weight of what you're doing. So like,
yeah, if it were that easy to get from one place to another, then your job wouldn't need to exist.
Exactly. So like, if you're getting that feeling of trudging by yourself, that is what you're supposed to be feeling.
Yeah, that's the immersion. Yeah. Like, from a standard video game perspective, that it's very dull. There's not much action in there, but like, it's like Shadow of the Colossus. Why can't it be like, a third the distance to get to a boss. Like, the boss fights are what this game is really about. Kind of, yeah, but also the isolation.
Yeah.
Like, if you're speedrunning it, then it's boring as shit, but, like,
You
really,
shouldn't
like,
be doing that.
on a first time, well, you time trial it or something, but, like, on a first playthrough, though, you really feel like this is a big open, nothing. It's just me out here.
Have you enjoyed the pooping to AMC commercials?
Yeah, like that's not gonna age well, Like, that show's not on TV anymore.
Yeah, but
whatever.
it's hilarious. I didn't know that show was even a thing.
Yeah, I never heard of it. I just like the Monster TM energy drinks.
Yeah.
No, what do you call it? I forget the actor's name. Can you help me out? Yeah, Riding Hard with Norman Reedus.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I
was
talking about. Yeah.
So I do have some. Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that it's good to see that Kojima letting loose a little bit. It's odd, it's bizarre, but it's still an interesting bit.
Yeah.
It's always worth the time, if you ask me, to pick up what he puts down. It's the same thing with Suda 51. Like everything.
Like, I'm not a big sneaky guy, so Metal Gear Solid is not to my style. But he also made like what is it called, Zone of the Enders. So yes. I'm cool with that.
I was gonna say awesome. Boktai.
Yeah. But moving on from that, I did want to tell everybody like what I've been following up on, like, media wise, other than the comic books that I mentioned, because I thought some of it's been like a really eclectic thing, but like, I have these like streaming services, and I've haven't really delved into them because I would always really rather see a friend.
Well, that just reminds me, like, I just lost Amazon Prime like a few days ago, and
yeah.
like, I mean, like, on purpose, like I discontinued it because I had a discount for a period of time.
Sure.
And they were like, well, your time's about to be up, so it'll cost like $12 a month for something you never use. So I'm like, all right, bye.
Yeah. Well, there have been quite a few things on Prime Video that I've been wanting to watch and have been watching, so I'm taking advantage of it for sure.
I have wanted to watch The Boys.
So yeah, I actually have the original trade paperback, before it was a glimmer of that, but their back catalog of like old media is really good. It's a lot better than Netflix's. Like they have a lot of really good old shows on there and old movies that I really like. So first of all, I was telling Lotus about this like offline, but I've been watching Escape from New York from time to time. I haven't been able to get through the whole movie just because I keep getting interrupted, but Escape from New York is a classic, and I love it even more now than
Snake
I did.
Logan? Oh, no, wait,
Snake Plissken.
Snake Logan is Biohazard with Biomenace.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you're right.
Love Biomenace.
I can't believe that's your point of reference.
I can't believe we have 3 people that know what fucking Biomenace is all in one space.
I mean, even I knew what it was, but like Snake Logan, I'm not remembering that name.
I didn't know what his name was. But
man with a mullet.
Yeah, and a big mustache.
and a big gun. Yeah,
yes.
Sorry, carry on.
But I love John Carpenter movies, so like I'm just going back to like the ones that I like either viewed a long time ago or haven't gotten to yet. So I wanted to do this, and I also wanted to watch Wes Craven's Shocker. Have you ever heard of that one?
No, for just a second, I was thinking The Tingler, and I'm like, no way, Wes Craven.
so Wes Craven, after he made Nightmare on Elm Street, went indie again because he was like having some disputes with New Line Cinema at the time, I think. So he was just like, well, no, fuck you guys, I'm gonna like go off and create a new bad guy. Like a new horror bad guy, and his name's like the Shocker, and it's a movie about like a criminal that gets electricity powers from like an electricity god. It is so weird,
okay.
but yeah, like I love Wes Craven and John Carpenter, so I'm like getting into their stuff. But while I was doing that, like I kind of also like I was listening to the Conan O'Brien podcast because I listen to it while I'm working from home. And he had Stephen Merchant on who does the Alan Partridge stuff, and he's really funny. But they were what was that?
Wanted to, he used to be on what was that British Disney panel show.
Yeah, he's been on as a character, been on a lot of really funny stuff. Stephen Merchant's also been in a bunch of like recognizable stuff like Jojo Rabbit recently and a few other things.
Wait a minute, was he the comedian talk show host in V for Vendetta?
No, that is Laurie. It was Stephen Fry and Laurie.
I was confusing the Stevens maybe.
Yeah. Because the guy who played House was on a bit of Fry and Laurie, and Laurie's the one you're thinking of.
No. Okay. I was going to say there's no chance that it was Hugh Laurie.
Hugh Laurie and Stephen Fry. I'm sorry, it's Stephen Fry.
Okay, so Stephen Fry perhaps then?
Yes.
Okay.
You're thinking of Stephen Fry.
The panel show was called Whose Line It Is Anyway, I think.
Oh, yeah. Whose Line Is Anyway.
I've seen a little. I haven't seen
too
much of the British one. I've seen a little bit of it.
Yeah, it's mostly the same because
it's still Colin Mockery and Ryan Stiles.
And Ryan Stiles are in both, yeah.
And even Brad Sherwood, I think, showed up in some of the old British ones.
Yeah. But getting back to what I was talking about, Stephen Merchant and Conan were talking about like some of their like favorite like British comedy stuff from the past, and we had Luminaire had actually introduced us to this one a little bit earlier, but The Young Ones was something that I always wanted to go back to.
I saw an episode of that. I like this is gonna piss off every single European. I couldn't get into that.
I actually loved it. It's one of those.
I only heard an anecdote about it.
It is immensely popular, but like it's like I only saw one episode, so like I can't really judge it that well. But from what I saw, the brand of humor wasn't for me.
I was gonna say it's quite. You need to see like a good example, and I don't know whether because like some of the stuff is like so offbeat that it's like hard to take.
I don't care about offbeat. It's just like everything's loud and chaotic all the time.
I only know that
stop it.
They had Motorhead on once.
But they do have musical guests, but like it's very like 90s MTV, like Liquid Television, like whoa, crazy, and I'm like I can't take too much of that.
But it was like in the 80s before any of that was a thing.
Yes, yeah. But I mean, I get it, and moments of that can be fucking great, but like I cannot take like so much of it.
Well, the first episode's great because like they're having like a pretty normal thing going on in the foreground, and then all of a sudden it focuses like on something that happens in the background, and you're like, what? Why is it doing this? And all of a sudden, like one of the things on the bookshelf like is a puppet. It's just like, why are you looking at me? I'm not the focus of this.
I do like stuff like that, and I do like just like casually doing over the top stuff, like a guy like just takes a bite out of a brick or something, and you're like, you could just do that, stuff like that.
In the episode that I've been watching, he ate a television.
Stuff like that. It's like, television. What? But like, it's just like the screamy dialogue that just I can't deal with.
Yeah, I actually really love it. I had never really seen more than like an episode, like you were saying.
Yeah.
I bought both seasons because you can't stream it for free anywhere, but it's worth buying. It was only like what, $20 to own like the digital version of it.
Sure.
Of all of it, and like if you want to buy the DVDs these days, they're over $100 because they're out of print. So this was by far the better option. But I also like kind of got like the British like itch. I looked up Blackadder, Black Books, Father Ted.
I heard Blackadder was brilliant.
Oh yeah,
Father Ted. Oh yes, that thing.
Oh yeah, Father Ted's really great too. And I had been introduced to that by Retro Gamer because it's about like 3 Irish priests. So like it's very it's very Irish. But
if you want to hear Mr. Bean talk, then Blackadder is
sure.
the show of choice.
Yeah, the conceit of that entire first episode or how the season begins is like one of the most hilarious things I've ever heard. Like the conceit is that the character is really stupid and is late to a battle and accidentally kills his own king after the battle has already happened.
Well,
it's very Shakespearean.
Also shows that like Rowan Atkinson looks very good with facial hair.
Oh yeah. And then I also have the Mighty Boosh in there saved as well, which was on Adult Swim for a while. That's another like off-kilter kind of thing. And this one is actually a big surprise because it's not a comedy, but Secret Agent or Danger Man. Have you heard of this show? Either of you guys?
That the name is generic enough that like maybe I think I've heard it, whether I actually have or not.
So it's called Danger Man in Europe. It's called Secret Agent in USA, and that's actually where that Austin Powers Secret Agent Man comes from. We've talked about The Prisoner before. And the Secret Agent or Danger Man, whatever you want to call it, is the show that guy was on before The Prisoner.
Okay.
And The Prisoner is kind of alluding to him being the same character, but not like, so they don't have to pay royalties or whatever. They never say that he's the same character, but he is. Come on. But it's pretty cool because I just saw like an episode of it and I really liked it. I also have saved up Tales from the Crypt, season 1. The first episode was fantastic. I really loved it. It's about a guy who's an executioner at a prison, and he gets laid off from his job, so he goes around like electrifying people he thinks deserves it. He's like an electric vigilante. It's pretty cool. And then of course he gets shocked at the end, just like any good Twilight Zone episode or whatever. I also have Hannibal saved up. Made in Abyss on your recommendation, Lotus.
That can be a rough sit. It's a very good show, but oh boy.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Made in Abyss.
Made in Abyss. Oh god, oh lord.
Yeah, the harm to children anime.
Yeah. I have the original Macross in there. The original Drunken Master, Jackie Chan's like first big hit.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I saw that one. It's very different from Legend of the Drunken Master. It's very like about the choreography. Mm-hmm. Like it looks choreographed, but
some
I think
people even say
to.
It's his best movie.
Well, I would disagree with that. Legend of the Drunken Master, though, oh man.
I really like Police Story 1 and 2. They're fantastic, if you ask me. But anyway, he has lots of good shit.
Lots.
I also was able to get the Adult Swim app, and they have every episode of Space Ghost Coast to Coast on there, and I put on one with the Mr. Show guys. And yeah, really, really cool stuff. And just one last thing, I also started watching JoJo Part 4.
Yeah, it's a good one.
JoJo.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, just a bunch of stuff, but we should move on to our fan stuff here.
Why, sure. So for comments, Living Corpse said, without spoiling stuff, while the Resident Evil 3 remake, whatever, removes areas, it greatly expands some of the ones kept in. Also, regarding, what I'm lucky for, I'm lucky to have discovered you guys to keep me company every Tuesday and Thursday.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and Anthony Cooper said the same thing. In fact, he responded to that post directly. He said, same here. I don't comment as much, but please be aware I'm always watching the podcast. Yeah, so thank you. I very much do appreciate, just any of the listeners in the comments and all that good stuff.
Yeah, we know we have plenty of people that regularly listen that we don't get regular comments from. I mean, I'm one of those people with Laser Time. I listen to Laser Time. I've been listening to it for years, but I don't interact with the community at all. No. And I totally get that. But it's good to hear from you guys because, like, we only see you as a number.
Any bit of feedback helps keep the show going.
Well, no, but like we do want to hear directly from you every once in a while, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. And School Filmer said, always nice to hear Fakafan again. I don't really care much for April Fool's Day, but I do remember one year where everyone's icons changed into Twilight and Lady Gaga related icons. Let's just say that everyone was really confused that day. I also posted something about a question about April Fool's gags, and the gimmick was that there was no right answer to the question, because it was which one of these is not a real April Fool's joke, but they were all real. And I think some of the alternatives were pulling stockings over TVs to get color TVs, and spaghetti growing on trees. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, there was a Weekly World News, like spaghetti, like getting blown through, like dry spaghetti getting blown through
every
like a
Weekly
tree
World
trunk.
News article's fucking April Fool's bullshit.
I love it. It's so good. I used to bring issues of that into school. It was amazing.
I often find it a little exasperating when people are doing it, because every time they do it, it's like, oh, is it true? Is it not?
Yeah.
No.
A School Filmer also answered the lucky question. If I consider myself lucky, no, not really, but I did find a 100 Norwegian kroner bill last time, or not last time. Sorry.
Now you can play EVE Online.
Kroner bill in the parking lot outside the grocery shop.
No, that's
so that was lucky. And then, of course, like Living Corpse says, I'm lucky to have discovered you lads. So yeah, everyone's going off of Living Corpse there. He's like started a train.
Yeah.
And then Dracologist, you yourself had a couple of posts.
Yes.
Mr. X had a nice unintentional comedy effect to it too.
Yes,
and
he
also,
was very memeable.
Yes, and also, the X gonna give it to you. Also, Putt Putt was great if it decided to run. I mean, I guess it'll run now, right? That's been optimized.
Wait,
Yeah,
Lotus.
But we're talking about like those times, and we had a Gravis Ultra sound.
Yeah, there was definitely some jank. And then also,
Lotus, real quick.
Yeah.
Did you see
Yes?
the Resident Evil Resistance glitch with Mr. X, where there were like a billion Mr. X's showed up, like,
That's the
and all
scariest thing in the
clustered
world.
together?
Oh, no.
I need to show it to you. It's hilarious.
Yo, fuck that. Anyway, Dracologist goes on to say, Shadow Man is awesome. The Hive remake when? And then I would call myself lucky, as that my guardian angel probably quit 20 years ago.
Yeah, like just to explain to people how lucky I am. When I was 3, I got meningitis.
Oh, jeez, okay.
Oh wow, that's no joke.
So,
Yeah.
Nope. So that's that. So
Yeah, there you go.
Lotus, I'm gonna send you this image just so you could just click on it and look at it. Just look at this.
I mean, I think I know what I'm gonna say. Oh, below the stairs. That's fucked. Yo, fuck
Just
that.
like, this big like tumbleweed of
That's
Mr.
like House
X's.
of the Dead, but everything's Mr. X. What a nightmare. Alright, so anyway, Fakafon posts, I am so sold on that book, Wrestling with Pixels. Now I want to play, and also, now I want to play Spy Fox again, because he was talking about that in the cast.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Vice, I gotta say, like, I don't care about wrestling for the
Neither
most
do
part.
I.
But, like, yeah, you were selling me on that book.
It's amazing.
And then finally, Sabrina Hengel says, first of all, thank you for continuing to do these podcasts. Although I don't always comment, I have enjoyed every single one. And
Thank you,
second,
Sabrina.
so far I can say that Persona 5 Royal is indeed even better and more fun than the original, and I'm looking forward to spending more time in Tokyo again. And last but not least, I guess Fakafon's luck is kind of a low-scale version of Nagito's from Danganronpa 2. I will have to take your word on that one, but Vice probably knows what that means. And then now we get to a question from School Filmer.
Oh yeah, Nagito is no joke.
Yeah, so School Filmer says, what games or other media did you like before, but not nowadays, due to the unfortunate circumstances in the world? For example, I really don't want to play Plague Inc. Involved because of, the coronavirus. Just, like, last thing I need is to play a game about a plague, that kind of thing. Although he continues to say, I bet it didn't stop others from making custom campaigns based on it. Hopefully I'll be able to play it again without second thoughts. I don't know if I really have an example of this, due to real-life events, like, oh, that puts me off playing this game because it's too real, because, like, I don't really tend to have that. Like everyone's joking about Death Stranding being like a prediction of real life now, but like I don't really mind playing Death Stranding.
People are not exploding yet, so
yeah, we give it time, it'll be fine. But like not really. I don't really think I've had a game like resonate with me too much in real life that it like I gotta put this down for a while. Like maybe not even necessarily because I don't care, but like possibly also because I just don't happen to be playing that game at that time.
I guess my major thing is like there's some things that have been ruined by like me getting older and realizing what the themes are about certain things. And
I will give one game about that, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, what I was gonna say is also like you find out stuff about the people who made something that you used to like. That also can really taint things, especially in this day and age. When
that information comes out real easy.
Exactly, like it's like Michael Jackson and stuff like that. But what I was gonna say is my favorite like classic rock album used to be The Who by Tommy. Okay. Or Tommy by The Who.
Yeah, by The Who.
I'm sorry. And it is fantastic music. It's undoubtedly great. And it has some of the best drumming you could ever hear in anything. But the entire album is about a boy who's getting sexually abused. And like I don't want to listen to that. Like,
oh, you'd probably hate Oingo Boingo then, because every single one of their their songs is catchy as hell, but so many of the lyrics are about just fucked up situations. Like Elevator Man is like one of my favorite songs as far as the music is concerned, but its lyrics are quite disturbing.
Well, I mean, just that particular subject bothers me. In particular, that subject bothers me. And like I don't want to listen to like that's like easily an album that you could just listen to and have on in the background at all times, but like I don't want to be reminded of that.
Like with
Oingo
Boingo, with Oingo Boingo, both Elevator Man and Nothing to Fear (parentheses but Fear itself) are like from the perspective of like a creeper, and it's really like just like it's one of those things like. You could easily sing along to it, but if you ever stop and like read the lyrics, you're like, oh, that's what I was doing.
Every time I listen to a Police song, man, Sting, what are you doing?
Goddamn. No, but regarding going to things that like haven't aged well, Dracologist knew about this before I did. But the Deadpool PS3 PS4 game.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because like I know you said that's not true Deadpool, and yes, but also just the cringe humor in it. Like, yo gamer girls, hit me up. Like, really...
It is incredibly...
It's very juvenile.
Like, the whole thing, like, Deadpool's humor was always off the wall, not forced cartoony humor.
Yeah, like, some of the humor in that game really got me. But, like, there was so much just, like, I feel embarrassed playing this kind of humor. It wasn't even, like, offensive. It was just, like, I just feel embarrassed playing like, I don't want anyone to know I'm playing it. And of course, that was a game I fucking streamed. I was like, oh, what have I got myself into?
Yeah.
But School Filmer did ask about other media. What games or other media did you like before? But nowadays, there's Unfortunate Circumstances. This one's kind of cheating, because I don't know if I would say Unfortunate Circumstances in the world, but there's, like, the whole famous everybody on Channel Awesome leaving debacle.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I've stopped watching Nostalgia Critic stuff. And also, I was part of Channel Awesome.
Yeah,
so
I could say the same thing about JonTron.
Yeah, that felt bad. I actually felt bad about that. Because Nostalgia Critic stuff, I found that I was kind of watching because I'd been watching. But JonTron stuff, I really liked.
No, me too.
It is consistently good.
But, hell if I'm going to support him.
And same goes for the Cinema Snob. Like, I... really like his videos, but I'm sorry, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm out.
How about you, Dracologist?
Yeah, Dracologist. Yeah.
I don't know. In retrospect, what was what I liked that I didn't like? I don't like now. I liked it before. It's hard to tell. Maybe I'm not sure about that, but maybe PopCap games nowadays. I don't know if they
What'd you say, PopCap?
PopCap games. Yes. Nowadays,
Okay.
like I don't even hear if they do anything anymore, or just sitting on a pile of money created by like Peggle and
Yeah, aren't
Visual.
they? I don't know if I necessarily have the right company for this. I think I do. Isn't that the company that like they kind of have their own launcher, like Steam or whatever, but it's like a million billion games. Like I actually quite like the hidden object games, and a lot of them are like from
PopCap is
PopCap.
most known for
Peggle,
Bejeweled.
Bejeweled,
Okay,
and what was
okay.
that garden
Yeah.
Farmville?
Plants vs Zombies.
Oh, Plants vs Zombies. I was way off. Farmville was
Hidden games are more like
Peggle.
No, hidden
Actually,
games
well,
are
the ones I were playing are from Artifex Mundi, but I think I remember them being on the PopCap store,
Big
so I might
Fish.
have been. What was it?
The hidden games are usually are from Big Fish games.
That's true. Yeah, I play Artifex Mundi ones, but Big Fish is like, I mean, literally like the big fish. But yeah, I've just seen a bunch of them on PopCap's like launcher, so I guess I was getting confused.
I do recommend the Ravenhouse games. Those are good.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I do like them as a good way to like, you know what I want to do for one afternoon? Just knock out this one hidden object. Like, they're pretty fun. They are.
No, it's well, I like Ravenhouse games because they have this little puzzle element, like this sort of puzzle parts, like that. Not just finding items, but like little.
No, yeah, there's lots of puzzles, and there's like a story to a lot of these games now because it's not just like a newspaper. Find the hidden objects. Like, there's actually like somewhere to go with these, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, they're also kind of like a visual novel component to them.
To a degree, yeah. Which again, I would never have expected from freaking Hidden Object, but the style has evolved. Go figure. So yeah, I guess that probably covers it then.
Yeah. All right. Well, if nobody has anything else to add, I think we should wrap up unless either of you have something to add.
If you're talking about things that haven't aged well because of the people who made them, there has to be. You know what? I mean, I haven't fallen off of it.
Gary
because,
Glitter.
Like, what?
Gary Glitter.
Oh, you know what's funny? Like, in America, we've kind of heard of him, and like he showed up on the news, but like when the whole debacle went down, I remember this distinctly because it was 2009. This is when I went to Scotland. I had vacation in Scotland. He was never not on the news. It was like all over every channel constantly. And I was like, have I heard of this guy? Because in America, like, again, America kind of knows who he is.
Well, I mean, his song was brought back in the limelight because of Joker. So, I mean,
yeah, but like, that's true.
Rock and Roll Part 2.
I'm talking 2009. But like, he was everywhere on TV in
because he's disgusting.
I assume the UK in general, but like certainly in Scotland.
He's also unrepentant. Like, he's very obvious about what he does, and he's a monster.
Oh, actually, if we want to talk about stuff like that, I got a good one. How about Bryan Singer and Victor Salva?
Yeah.
Bryan Singer, I mean, he's made a bunch of stuff, including the Freddie Mercury movie, but I'm thinking the old X-Men stuff.
Sure.
And Victor Salva, the Jeepers Creepers movies.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
And both of them were brought back to, make more movies because they make good movies. And it's like, fuck you, Hollywood. we like Harvey Weinstein was like the sacrificial lamb, you know. I can't say scapegoat because he actually did it, but like he basically took the hit for everyone else, which is not how you solve the problem. That's how you solve a problem.
There's a big garbage heap out there.
Because like Bryan Singer and Victor Salva, like we know about it. Like it's not like, oh, I got suspicious. Like we know about it. But they're still making movies. Or I don't know about Victor Salva. I mean, he was brought back.
No, he just made a Jeepers Creepers 3 recently.
Well, not that recently anymore. But Bryan Singer just made
it wasn't that
Freddie
long
Mercury
ago.
movie like fucking 5 minutes ago. It's like, really?
Ugh. Bad stuff. But anyway, we should wrap things up here.
Yes. That
is the show for this week. We want to thank all of our fans who contributed questions. Please keep us supplied with awesome topics by submitting questions of your own via the YouTube and SoundCloud pages. Thanks for everything this week, guys. You really contributed a lot.
Absolutely. And thank you for listening as well, even if you don't put in comments or whatever. Like, it really does mean a lot. Like, I can see
positivity.
I could see like the analytics and the subscriber count. Like I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, we've actually been gaining some
like a few
followers here and there. But we certainly haven't been losing any, which is Great. We keep you guys coming. That's for sure. While there, please give us likes, thumbs ups, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. Helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement keeps the show going. You can also catch us on Tuesday for our sister podcast, Reactive Consciousness, the in-depth look at this week in our lives. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on pretty much everything.
And you can follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, and getting in discussions with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
And you can find me on Discord, Skype, and on Steam under the name Dracologist.
All right. Well, we'll catch everybody on Tuesday once again.
Until next time, everyone.
Good evening.